My friends, today we are taking a break from the character design at the request of my girlfriend, whom I love more than anyone else in the world, the light in the sky, the stars at night, to instead talk about some of my favorite games. So I've got a list of 10 games which are my favorites. I could easily do a list of 100, but we're just doing 10. So let's get started. So the first game, and all the footage is coming from Long Play Archive, by the way, on YouTube, because I don't own all these games in order to get footage. So, first game though, Zone of the Enders. Early-ish PlayStation 2 game, and this is where my love of mecha came from, and as frequent viewers may know, my favorite mythological being is Anubis, and this is where that started as well. Because I played this game when I was like 7, and the final boss is named Anubis, and is very Anubis coded, and I just thought he was so fucking cool, dude, so that's where that started. So the plot of Zone of the Enders is pretty straightforward. It's a pretty straightforward by mecha standards. So we're on this colony around Jupiter, and we play a character named Leo, who's a wee little kid. Leo ends up seeing his friends get killed, like, right in front of him, because what happens is the colony gets attacked by this hostile force. His friends, they're about to get crushed right before his eyes. How tragic. Squish. Now, the reason the colony around Jupiter is being attacked is because they are after an orbital frame named Jehuti. And Leo just so happens to end up in said mech while he's running and hiding. And then he makes friends with the onboard AI named Ada. Can we, there she is. Can we see Jehuti? There we go. So this is one of the 2 orbital frames the group is currently looking at, because you know how it is. There's the regular mechs, and then there's your super mechs, and Jehuti's one of the super mechs. And the plot after that point is basically Leo and Jehuti going around the colony trying to basically minimize the catastrophe that's happening, all the casualties and everything. I believe there's a re-release for this game on Steam and the sequel where you can play it in VR, which sounds like a great way to throw up immediately. Somewhere along the way, we pick up a little girl as well, and she ends up riding in the mech with us for a little while. And the story is, like, pretty straightforward. I don't think the gameplay has aged too well, but for, like, 7-year-old me who had never seen Gundam and hadn't played many action games by the point, this was, like, a life-changing experience for me. Let's skip kind of like halfway through. Can we get some gameplay? Come on, you can do it. So the gameplay, I see we're gonna sit back and throw some orbs. Very cool, very cool. Can we get a little bit of melee combat, perhaps? Go up there and use the sword? No, this is what we do. Oh, maybe. Come on. Alright, we stabbed it a little bit at the end there. The gameplay isn't amazing, to be honest with you. I replayed the second game not that long ago, and yeah, you know, it's, the combat's not exactly deep. Can we get a little bit extra, maybe? Just a little bit more, maybe a smidge more? There we go, get in there, get stabbing. Yeah, block. Yeah. Here he comes. Okay. Big blocks. You know, I should unmute this so you can hear it. But then I have to balance the audio appropriately. Tragic. So, gameplay's not aged too well. Now, but the big thing is Anubis. So the final boss of this game is Anubis, and it's a supposed to lose fight. Can we get a close-up of Anubis in here, perhaps? Come on, a little bit of a better shot. Come on, man. You gotta have a better shot. Here we go. Come on. Give us a close-up. Oh, I see. That was a loading screen. I was like, did I crash? What's happening there? Yep. Behind us. There he is. And Anubis, you can't win. The final boss is here to rock your shit. Ada's like, we can't fight Anubis. And true enough, you can. He pushes your shit right in no matter what. So we got just blinking all over the place, trying to run. Come on, at least try. At least try and hit him, my man. Come on. There he is. And there's just nothing you can do. Come on. Actually get hit now, please. It's impossible. Yes. Lockdown. Here he comes. Fucking ends ya. And that's where the game ends, after getting your shit pushed in by Anubis. And then you have to wait till the sequel to actually get to fight him. And then it's not even Leo piloting Jehuti at that point, because it's like 20 years in the future or something. But that's the first game. This is where it all started for me. Now let's move on to the next game. Second game, looking chunky as hell, is Dragon Ball Budokai. Or Dragon Ball Z Budokai. And this is where the arena fighters for anime games started. This is the game that you can blame for every anime game now being an arena fighter, because this game was popular. So now this is just all any anime game is like ever allowed to be anymore. So Dragon Ball Z was a very formative anime for me in general. I still remember vividly the day I saw the first episode when I was like 5 years old. And Dragon Ball Z, it means a lot to me. It's no exaggeration to say I would not be the person I am today if it was not for the anime. And Budokai has aged terribly, both in graphics, as we can plainly see, but also the gameplay is a little on the, well, let's just say even by arena fighters, it's not particularly deep, because this is where the whole anime arena fighter genre started. Obviously, there were 3D fighters beforehand, but this type of game has a very different feel to it to, say, your Tekkens or your Virtua Fighters, and this one's simple even by those standards. What was very novel was the fact that it retells everything up until the Cell Saga? First one ends at Cell, right? Yeah. And, you know, the Dragon Ball games get a lot of flack for that, but it's actually a pretty small amount of them that actually retell, like, the entire plot. And this one just does. And so that was very cool in a very condensed fashion, of course, and cutting out all the filler as well, which is lame because, as true Dragon Ball Z enjoyers know, the filler episodes are the best episodes. That episode where Goku and Piccolo are learning to drive a car, that's actually like one of the best episodes in the entire show. And, you know, I'm not going to tell you that I would ever replay this game in particular, because I wouldn't. There's just better versions, like Tenkaichi 2 and 3 are just straight upgrades. And I haven't gone to play Sparking Zero, unfortunately, but I heard it was pretty good. But, you know, again, little me, when I played this game, I must have been like How old would I have been? Because this was on the PlayStation 2 as well. This wasn't quite so early, I don't think. I was probably like 11 or 12 or something. This was an amazing experience to little me. In the before times. And do we get the, any of the what-ifs in here? Are there any other what-if scenarios in here? Not looking like it. That's unfortunate. The what-ifs were also quite good. Oh wait, no, this is one of them. Because the what-if scenarios were amazing. Here we've got one where Cell accidentally absorbs Krillin instead of Android 18. And catastrophic results. Absolutely dire. Unbelievable. Absorbing Krillin actually made him weaker. What a disaster. He can barely take Yamcha. My poor man. He can barely take Yamcha and Tien. And then, but it's okay. Because at the end of that whole scenario, somewhere in here. Come on, there's not much left. At the end of the scenario, I guess one more fight. Oh, dear. Yeah. Oh, it was all a nightmare. It's okay. Whew. It was all a dream. It's okay. It's okay. It didn't actually happen. So, anyway. That's where the Arena Fighters for anime games started. What a disaster. Catastrophic results. But for the time, it was great. So, next game. Next game is Shadow Hearts 2. Shadow Hearts Covenant. This is not Let's Play Archive. This was uploaded by... I'm covering it. Red Raccoon Dog. Now, Shadow Hearts 2. The plot is too winding and ridiculous to recount. It's also a JRPG, so recounting the entire plot would kind of defeat the point of, like, playing the game. Seeing as that's usually what you're there for. And to be fair, I did spoil Zone of the Ender's final boss, but, you know. So, anyway. So, Shadow Hearts 2 is the sequel, obviously, to Shadow Hearts. There's a third game. We don't talk about that. There's also technically a prior game called Kadelka, which was a turn-based survival horror game on the PS1, which was very novel as well. And we got big demons. The first game was like a horror. The second game skews much more goofy with some horror elements. And then the third game is just fully ridiculous. We've gone off the deep end. I actually do like the third game, but it's a bit incongruent with the prior games in the series, shall we say. So the thing about Shadow Hearts is that the combat is a little bit more active because we've got the wheel. And if here we go. You gotta time the inputs, and then if you get the narrow spot in the wheel, then you do bonus damage, of course, also. But if you miss, you do less attacks or fail to do an attack entirely. And you use the wheel for everything. Trying to use spells, you use the wheel. Trying to use items, you use the wheel. You use the wheel for everything. The Judgment Ring, that's what it's called. And positioning is also a bit important, as you might be able to tell by this chunky area around them. So you can, like, juggle them, and there's comboing and everything. The combat's pretty intense. Now, I don't want to spoil the whole story for you, but I must at least give you a glimpse into the kind of game this is, or like the kind of story you get with this game. So the main character is actually Yuri, who is not in this opening part. Come on, where's Yuri? Yuri's in here somewhere, because we go through a tutorial with these other characters. Here's Yuri. You can do it. Here's Yuri. And we get a nice little a nice gaggle of interesting party members, as you can see. Everybody's kind of got their own unique thing as well. So Yuri's thing is that he transforms into demons. So he has a variety of different forms he can adopt. And Geppetto here, just straight up is Geppetto, uses puppets for his attack. So everybody kind of has their thing. So Yuri's the protagonist. And we end up having to go to Russia at one point because we have to fight Rasputin. Because Rasputin has made a pact with the god Asmodeus, or the demon Asmodeus, which has made him invulnerable. And he's up to no good. He's up to no good. And then there's this other faction that are trying to destabilize the West because they're Japanese supremacists, and they're trying to, and then they end up releasing this god into the world that like wants to destroy everything, and then that's not even like the actual final boss, because then like it goes some interesting places. And it's quite the ride. It's short, as I recall, by like JRPG standards, but it's that's a good random spot to have got on. So we got some collectibles here. These lovely buff men cards. And I forget what everybody's thing kind of is. Karen's like the mage. She's the tutorial character, so she's like the straightforward one. There's this like luchador vampire. Pretty sure he was a vampire. And his thing was that he's very strong. So you just kind of let this guy. His thing is that he's very strong. So his weapons are kind of things that... Oh, look at that run. Oh my goodness, he's got places to be, brother. His thing is he's very strong. So he just kind of like pulls weapons out of the ground, like stop sign. That sounds like a fantastic weapon, brother. Let's just yank that out. Post box sounds fantastic. That kind of thing. Trying to see if we can get a glimpse of the cutscene where he's introduced, but it's a little hard to skim through a video that's this big, because he's got a luchador kind of... There he is. I have to unmute the audio for this part. Hold on. Let's unmute that. Increase the volume, because you've got to hear this.
Who's that?
When the forces of darkness descend, in the name of justice, this fist. In the name of truth, these muscles. In the name of honor, this blood. Ha ha! Champion of truth and justice, Grand Papillon, ready to fight all evil doers. If you can face the unfettered fury of my rippling muscles, then come on!
What? Huh?
Absolute cinema. So that's the kind of vibe we get here. The first game is like a horror. I remember very few like comedy elements in that, but we slowly skewed more and more comedy as the game went on. The series went on. And second game, the story loops in very nicely with the third one, a very good continuation. It's got multiple endings as well. One of them is like confirmed canon. And yeah, that's the game. Very good. Very, very good JRPG series. Highly underappreciated. So is the prequel, Kodelka. So highly, highly recommend these games. They're very unknown. You do kind of have to go in order, because the second game's story is like a straight continuation of the first one. Or, well, not a straight continuation per se, but you'd be very lost, and you wouldn't fully appreciate the ending if you hadn't played the first one. Kodelka is optional, but is also very good. And then the third game, you know, if you like the first two, go for it. It's got a very different vibe. Highly recommend these games. Please do. Please do play them if you get the chance. Next game. And this footage is coming from Virtual Gaming Library. It's Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations. Please pause, because I don't want to... This is like a mystery visual novel, so obviously I don't want to show anything too far in. We'll stick to the tutorial. So, Ace Attorney, as we all know, a very silly series. Not a very accurate representation of being an attorney, I have to imagine, but much more entertaining. And this is one of those games that absolutely ruined me. Because of... Please, where is... No, wait, no, he's not in the first case, is he? Where is he? There he is. Godot absolutely ruined me. He destroyed... he dictated my taste in men from this point going forward. Like, in fact, I remember it fairly vividly, because I played this game when I was a bit older. I would have been 16 at the time. And this is one of those games where I played it and I was like, I think I might like men as well, actually. And yeah, I can't say too much about the story, which is kind of the whole thing for this game, unfortunately, being that it's that would spoil basically everything. But we play Phoenix Wright. We defend a variety of we defend a variety of people in court. They've all been accused of a crime, and we say no. They didn't do that, as any good defense attorney would. So the whole gameplay is just like puzzling out the circumstances behind it, which generally goes something like prosecution puts forward an argument, and you go, no, that's obviously fucking stupid. Have you not looked at this evidence right here? And then they go, oh, please, I have an updated autopsy report right here, which completely counters your counterclaim. And then that goes on until there's officially just nowhere left to go. And the cases sort of get progressively... Well, they fluctuate a little bit, but they generally get progressively more difficult. I do not think Trials and Tribulations is the best game, but it is my favorite because Godot is my favorite prosecutor. I actually think Great Ace Attorney Chronicles is the best game in the series. Or best two games, seeing as part 1 and 2. Those are absolute fucking cinema. Highly recommend them. And yeah, not much else to say because it's a visual novel, so I'd be giving everything away. But it's very fun. I like solving crimes. I like mysteries in general, so... This is probably where that started as well, actually, because these would have been the first, like, mystery kind of games I played, and then I consume any kind of crime-solving game I can find now, and I love solving crimes. So, anyway, that is Ace Attorney. Next game. Alright, next game, and this gameplay footage is coming from the Game Archivist. It's Bayonetta 2. Now, this genre of games, the spectacle fighter genre, Bayonetta 2 just is the best one, and I will not be taking any questions on this. It just is the best one. I remember when Nintendo picked up Bayonetta for the sequels, made it a Nintendo exclusive. Everyone was like, ooh, that's a bit of an interesting choice coming from old Nintendo there. But then you play the game and it's like, oh, I get it. It's just so fun and whimsical, and it's got this, like, energy about it. Let's just watch, like, the opening part together, yeah?
Yo! You know what? Screw the pretty ribbon. Just hurry up and put it in the box, will ya? Fuck the damn ribbon!
You know, I try to avoid doing this in my Sunday best. still knows how to make an entrance.
Absolute cinema. And then that energy is carried on throughout the entire game. Like this whole opening section with the fighting on the jets and then transitioning from the jets. Oh wait. There's our girlfriend, of course, can't forget. And huge fuck off angels. The whole opening sequence is just absolute fucking cinema. Can we get where we transition to the train, please? Because that's also very good. Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Little Metal Gear Rising moment right there. Hop, hop, hop. And you fight the big one on the back of the moving train that's running after you. Oh, absolute fucking cinema. Like, the gameplay for Bayonetta, it's peak, just generally. I've always preferred Bayonetta's gameplay to Devil May Cry, actually, even though Devil May Cry is, like, the one everybody kind of thinks of with this genre. Bayonetta's just so much more, like, fun and active and like energetic to me, and just like the whimsy of the games. The Devil May Cry games are also quite whimsical, of course, but the whimsy in Bayonetta is just like cranked way up. And then we have to fight, like, at the end we have to fight one of our own demons which is rebelling against us, and we have to beat the shit out of it. Because Bayonetta doesn't do disobedient pets, obviously. Oh, the set pieces are so good in the Bayonetta games. And 2 is just like where the whole series peaked. 3 is fine. It's, I think 3 jumped the shark a little bit with some of the concepts it was going for, which is crazy to say when you think about the first 2 Bayonetta games, but 3 is like a little too wacky for my taste. But yeah, Bayonetta's great. Bayonetta herself is obviously fantastic. And 2's got the best iteration on her design. I like the short hair version a lot more, and this outfit, I like it a lot more than the Bayonetta 1 design. And yeah, gameplay's great. Story's, well, a little fucking stupid, if we're being honest. But with all the time travel and shit that's going on, but I like it. The characters are great. It's got just this amazing energy. The gameplay's great. It's great. Absolute cinema. Bayonetta 2 is amazing. Love it. Next game. Similar vein to the last one, coming from Game Archives, we've got Devil May Cry 3. I'm a little small. Let me embiggen again. Devil May Cry 3. This is the best Devil May Cry game. I think I think it's pretty close with 5 now, but 3 is great. And to illustrate that, much like Bayonetta, we're gonna watch the opening together because that conveys a lot of the energy going forward. I am bigging myself just to ensmallen myself again.
Sorry, not open for business yet. I haven't even picked a name for this joint, and I'm already getting calls. You a customer too? Well, if you want to use the bathroom, help yourself. The toilet's in the back.
Is your name Dante, son of Sparta?
Where did you hear that?
From your brother. He sent this invitation for you. Please, accept it.
Invitation, huh? This party's getting crazy. Let's rock. Don't bet on it.
Absolute cinema. So, I love all of these games. Like, this is my favorite genre of video games. I played the first Devil May Cry when I was young, and I've loved every game since then. Like, this genre of video games, it's so good. The spectacle fighters, character action games, whatever you want to call them. Character action game just sound... I know that's like the official genre name, but like, it sounds so fucking lame, dude. Spectacle Fighter is a much better name. And I've loved all of these games. I love Bayonetta, I love Vanquish, Devil May Cry, obviously. Like, all of these games, they're absolutely amazing. And Devil May Cry gets a little melodramatic sometimes, but, you know, that's fine. Dante's obviously a fun character. Everybody loves Dante. Even though, like, the way we think of Dante now is like Devil May Cry 3 Dante, like that energy. He was weirdly serious in like the prior games, but then they picked with after this like younger version of Dante showed up. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, this is the best one. Actually, let's do more like this." And then he's just been a well, let's be frank, he's been a cunt ever since. And that's fine. I love that for him. And Devil May Cry 5 was an amazing game. A great return to form after, well, the game that shan't be named, which came in between. Tragic. Truly tragic that game was. But 3 is, I think, the best game. The gameplay is the best. The story I like the most because it basically is just entirely about, like, beefing with Virgil. This is also where Lady got introduced, and Lady is one of the best characters in the entire series. Drastically underutilized because she isn't one of the Sparta family, you know? That's just how it be. And, yeah, great games. Absolutely love them. Very formative series of games for me when I was younger. And 3 is just my favorite one, so that's where we're at. Now, next game. Next game, coming to us from Shirako, is Persona 4. Now, this is footage from Golden, the re-release. Not the remake. This was the updated re-release. And this is a nice, casual, let me show you, 2-day long video. But Persona 4 is one of the most important games in my life. Because this is the game that directly led to me meeting my girlfriend, whom I love dearly, and my closest friends as well. I would not have met them had I not played this game. So it's a very important game for me. I'd be in a very different place now if I hadn't played it. And this is a truly beefy JRPG. As you can tell by the 2-day long video that we're currently looking at right now. So we can't say much about the story, but you play a boy that goes to a small town called Inaba to let's stay with some relatives. Not mother or father, obviously. We don't get to see them ever. And then there's spooky happenings going on. We fall into a TV and we have to beef with our alter egos, our shadow versions of ourselves, who reflect all the ugly parts of us that we don't like. And they, you know, we beef with them a little bit. We reject the shadow, obviously. And then the shadow turns into some sort of weird fucking thing. Like this. And we gotta beat it up so that we can finally accept ourselves for who we truly are and we can be better people. And then there's some underlying spooky bullshit. We gotta solve a mystery. There's murders going on in the town. We gotta figure out who's responsible for those. And then that turns out to be this whole other bigger thing that's going on as well. And then, of course, at the end, we fight a god because that's just how JRPGs are. But then we've got the gameplay here, which is by, you know, fairly straightforward JRPG stuff. You hit their weaknesses and then you knock them down and you get an extra turn. Don't get your weaknesses hit or you get bullied. And if you got a party of more than one person and you knock them down, you get to do an all-out attack, big damage. But then that's just the gameplay part, because in between that, we've got the slice of life segments where we form social links with the people in the town and we get closer to them. And then there's a time management aspect because you're only in the town for a year. So a lot of days are predetermined what's going to happen because of the story. But then in between, you have like free reign to hang out with whoever you like, to train up your out of combat stats, go fishing, all the classics. And this game's getting a remake in the near future as well, which is looking like it's going to be pretty good because P3 Reload was pretty good, so this one will probably be pretty good as well. Persona games generally don't miss, except for the first one, which is... It's not very good. You know, everyone wants the first two games to be remade. I think we can skip the first one. I don't think the first one is that important. It's okay, man. That one's not so good. Just not a very good story compared to the usual standards. So the story's the big draw and the dating sim aspects, you know. And it's an offshoot of the SMT series, so the games are a little more difficult than like your average JRPG, and like you say most of the Final Fantasies. Well, the turn-based Final Fantasies. But the Persona games are a lot easier. And yeah, they're very good. Highly recommend. You can play them in any order. They're entirely self-contained experiences. The best starting point is probably P5 because it's got the most energy about it. But they're all good. Highly recommend. Sorry. And yeah, I wouldn't have met the most important people in my life if I hadn't played this game. So that's why it's here, quite high up the list. Next game coming at us from Riptide Retro is 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. This is the most modern game on this list. And I played it fairly recently, but I absolutely love it. So it's half visual novel. Come on, this is another day-long video. So it's half visual novel where you've got these little like cutscenes. You go around, you talk to them. You got the thought cloud. You interact with people. There's some like puzzling that you do in some of these sections as well, but they're mostly just like straight dialogue exchanges between the characters. And then the other gameplay. This is a day-long video, so skimming through is going to be a bit difficult. The other gameplay, here we go, is this like top-down affair where you pilot the mechs. This is a mecha game also. You pilot the mechs, and the goal is to defend the city from these gaggles of kaijus, these evil mechs, basically. Let's see if we can find a slightly more involved gameplay section in there. Or non-visual novel gameplay section. Which, as you can see, is a little difficult. This game is more visual novel than it is strategy. Though I do like the strategy sections a lot. So, you've got your little collection of people that are all deployed in their own little type of mech. And you use your actions to try and kill as many of them as possible. Because after one character acts, they go on cooldown for a little bit. Depending on, like, the power of the attack that you used. And you've got sniper mechs, like support mechs, melee mechs. And flying mechs. There's 4, like, types, broadly. Each piloted by a specific person. And there's not a huge amount of customization or anything. Mech games tend to have, like, mech strategy games usually have more customization than this. Because this is more of a story affair. And the goal is just that you're defending this main point at the center from all of these things, which, like, beeline straight to it. And I do enjoy the gameplay a lot because it's very satisfying to just wipe the field, you know, from a lot of these things with like a few well-placed attacks. And then there's some bigger, because there's a lot of these like big hordes, but then there's the few big mechs in there, so you have to like carefully kind of pick who's gonna do what, because the melee mechs are really good at wiping out the big ones, but they're not so good at the area control, and then the more waves are coming in, so you kind of have to juggle it. And then there's a few like bonus combat stages as well that are a little bit more involved. But it's mostly this, like, visual novel aspect that is, like, the main draw. And this is my favorite character, Okino. I love them very much. They're a little non-binary. They don't say that they're a non-binary. They always use he/him pronouns, but, like, one of their lines of dialogue is just, like, while they are like cross-dressing, one of their lines of dialogue is, let's just say some binaries work for me and some don't, which is supremely unsubtle. And the main thing is here that you've got 13 sentinels. So you've got 13 characters, and they've got their own little story sections, and you kind of jump around between them. So we've got Kurabe here as one of them, and this is one of his sections. And then if we go forward a little bit, this is another of the characters, and this is one of his sections. His are a little bit more puzzly than some of the other ones are. And yeah, she's another character. Got another one here, and you just jump back and forth between them. It's a very non-linear story that's told out of order, and you can also freely jump between the character. Well, not quite freely. Some of them get locked off for certain points, but you can mostly freely jump between the characters, so it's out of order, and you can make it super out of order depending on the order you play it in as well. But I like it. There was, because of the order I played it through in the first time, one line of dialogue jump scared me because it completely changed the context for everything I had seen from another character's perspective. I was like, holy shit. And that's the point where I was like, all right, this game's absolute cinema. And my second favorite type of game is turn-based strategy. And this one's got, it's turn-based strategy, but it's got a bit of more of a novel spin on it. And it grades you based on how well you did. I love that shit. I 100%ed this game. I got all the S's, maxed it all out. I had a great time. Highly, highly recommend 13 Sentinels. Next game. This one's coming at us from World of Long Plays. It's Skies of Arcadia. So up until the last couple of years, or last few years now at this point, actually, this was my favorite game of all time. Another JRPG. And we're just going to watch the opening together because just the opening notes from the opening cutscene like stir something within me every time I hear them. So let's watch together. I love it so much. Oh my god. It brings me right back to my childhood every time I hear the song, dude. Ah. So, Skies of Arcadia is another JRPG, and I'll admit to you, as far as JRPGs go, it's quite a shallow gameplay experience. Very little customization. What is strong is, like, obviously strong, and then everything else is, like, kind of useless for the most part. And, we got some element systems in there. Every enemy has, like, an element, and then you cast certain spells of certain elements. You can change the element of your weapons to do more damage, that kind of thing. But it's a pretty shallow experience. You don't even get to customize your party, except for the very end, when you get to pick who your 4th party member is. Because there's your 3 core party members who are there basically the entire time. But, it's the story and, like, the sense of adventure that, like, does it all for me. Sky Pirates? Who doesn't love fucking Sky Pirates, dude? And the story's nothing, like, crazy either. So Vise here is the main character. He's the protagonist. And then here's Aika, his best friend. And we've got some adventuring to go on. So here's the gameplay. So you get to change the element of the weapons. Bar at the top is the SP meter. You spend from that to cast special attacks. And this is a party-wide resource. Each character generates a certain amount of SP each turn. 1 at the start, but this goes up over time. And then the cap goes up over time as well. And so they all pull from this meter to use their special attacks. There's also magic. Each character has their own MP, but it's very small. Like, I believe Vise at this point has 1 MP or something. And the, here's a spell. Pyre, fire spell. There's, like, some minor positioning stuff in the game, because, like, while combat's happening, the characters kind of, like, move around and, like, jockey for position and stuff. So, like, she's gonna do this, but while that's happening, Vise in the background moves up to the boss, because he's gonna fight as well. There's, like, minor positioning stuff, but you have no control over where anybody actually is, so that's a little bit disappointing. So the story, the basic setup is that, like, at the start, this, we were raiding this Valuan ship, and what they did was they attacked this other ship, and they kidnapped this girl, Fina, and she's from a faraway land. And the reason she's come here is so that she can collect the 7 moon crystals, because there's 7 moons. Each one of them is a specific element. Red moon is fire, that kind of thing. The only kind of wild card one is ice is purple. So, you know. But other than that, they're all pretty much what you would expect them to be. And then silver is kind of like non-element, you know, that kind of thing. And so we go on an adventure. We've got to go to all 7 lands with Fina so that we can collect all of the moon crystals so that we can, you know, stop the world from ending and stuff. And then we have to admit, Valua is like the main antagonist of the thing, because here's the man himself, Galcian. And doesn't exactly have a friendly aura. The moon crystal thing takes a bit of time to get to, because at the start, Fina gets, like, kidnapped by Valua again, along with all of Vise and Aika's friends, so we have to go bust them out. Then along the way, we meet Drachma, who is our party member for a little while. go into Valua, do this big rescue operation, that kind of thing. And then it's just a lot of adventuring after that point. We fight some interesting creatures like this blobby little boy in the sewer of Valua. This is while we're engaging our rescue plan. Bit of an ugly little guy. You know? See more appealing enemies. And so, you know, we go over to the desert for the Red Moon Crystal. It's got the vibe you would expect. What I should show you is some of the aerial combat. Because this is a Sky Pirate game. We have to be able to do aerial combat. And this'll do. So here we're fighting a big boy, a big boss, on our quest for the Red Moon Crystal. And we've got to do it inside the ship, because obviously we can't fight something this big by ourselves. So show me the turn order thing here. Because this has a different gameplay system to the regular round combat. Here we go. So you get this little thing up here, and everybody's gonna take a turn on there. And you can kind of divvy it up however you want, and it shows you what's going to happen. And then it's kind of flicking on the next one. That's because some of them have like random chance for what's going to happen next. And sometimes you get a choice mid-combat that will dictate what happens on the next round of combat. So this is a little bit more of a chunky gameplay system than the regular ground combat is. But it's still a little on the straightforward time, because anytime you basically just plow all your damage in, and then like you learn your max level healing spell kind of early on, so that you just fully heal whenever you're low health. It's a unique system, but not exactly challenging at the same time. And as you can see, the SP scales up pretty quickly because this is not that far into the game, and we have 37 SP now. And some of these are a little bit more puzzly. Like this guy, we can't really damage directly outside of the harpoon cannon. Does a little bit more, but we would be fighting it for an age, obviously. So this one's mostly just about surviving until you figure out what to do. But yeah, big adventure vibes. And like, I love all the characters. They're all very good. Vise has that shonen protagonist energy about him. Aika's the tsundere friend. Fina's the meek, demure one. Drachma's the crouchy old man. Later on, we meet the playboy pirate. And then there's like the prince as well. All the characters are very good. And it's, you know, it's a JRPG. The story's like the main thing. It's not deep or anything like that, you know. You're not gonna catch any like 8-hour story analysis videos about it, but like it's fun, it's adventure, it's whimsical. I love it. This game was a huge part of my childhood and holds a very special place in my heart. Every day I pray for a remake, but I would accept just a re-release because these games are like stuck on the fucking GameCube and Dreamcast, man. Like, come on. You put Vise in the fucking Sonic Racing game. Can't we get like a little something, please? Anyway. That's Skies of Arcadia. Highly recommend. Love it. Next game. And here we are. Final game. Yakuza 0. Footage from Shirako again. And this relatively recently replaced Skies of Arcadia as my favorite game because it's just so fucking good, man. So, the story of Yakuza 0 is split between two characters. We've got the first character here, Kiryu. And on his half of the game, he is being framed for a murder what he didn't do. So he has to figure out what's going on with that and prove that he didn't do it, or he's gonna get arrested, and that would be no good. So this is taking place a little bit in the past. This is happening during the bubble economy from Japan. So a little bit of ancient history. And the gameplay is... I'm not going to tell you it's super deep, but the gameplay is very satisfying. Wait, here we go. So, the gameplay is very satisfying. It's beat 'em up, and at the start you only have the one style, which is brawler, in the case of Kiryu here. And it's, you know, it's a pretty straightforward, like, beat 'em up. The thing that's cool is the heat actions. Here we go. Spend some meter to do a little special attack. Oof. Get fucked, brother. And there's a surprising amount of heat actions. Ooh, you're not supposed to have Rush right now, are you? Oh, no, you do learn Rush at this point. It's been a little while since I played through. It's Beast that you learn later for Kiryu. And so, these gameplay bits, some of them are just straightforward brawls, but then this is kind of like a little dungeon sequence as well. So once all these goons are beaten up... Come on, you can do it. Ah, we missed. Disaster. It should be full screen. My bad. Once we've beaten them up, the doors open, and we're allowed to progress into the other areas. And if I'm not mistaken, it's in this room where we'll see a... Whoa, big bat. Ah, fucking got him. It's in this room where we see a QTE for the first time, because we got some QTEs as well. Oh, no. Is it not here? Ah, yeah, there we go. Here he comes. Oh! Failed the QTE. Got walloped. Unfortunate. And so, anyway. And then the other half of the game is you play as Majima. Well-known character from the Yakuza series, and this is his origin story, where he was very different. Where is Majima? He's in here. Come on. Come on. He's in here. Majima's side of the story is a lot better. I just want to actually show you Majima. Come on. He's coming out soon. Bring the boss out. Here we go. Here comes Majima. Let's just watch Majima's introduction because it's cinema.
彼ってあの男か？ありゃただのケツ持ちだろ
お客様、
う。
本日はお越しいただきありがとうございます。
なんやお前、ケツ持ちちゃうんか？
よく間違われます。ですが違います。
せやったらなんやねん悪い。
申し遅れました。私、当店支配人の真島と申します。
お前が支配人やと？あれが例の？この店はヤクザが仕切っとんのかい？
お見苦しくて申し訳ございません。こう見えても堅気です。それよりもお客様、恐れ入りますが、当店でのお触りや暴力行為はどうかご遠慮願います。
気に食わんちゅうんやったら力ずくで来てみろや。その面こき落としけ。
そういうわけには参りません。お客様は神様ですから。
ほう、そらええ心がけやないか。お前さんのその心構え気に入ったわ。こいつはおごりや。たーんともいい。
神様からのお恵みは。ありがとうございます。私はこの酒を一度浴びるように飲んでみたかったのですが、おかげさまで夢が叶いました。この野郎。どけよや。お客様、重ねてお願い申し上げます。そろそろお引き取り願えませんでしょうか。もしこれ以上営業妨害されますと。したら何やっちゅうねん。しゃあないのう。ああ、一丁景気のやれや。そこまでお客様がお望みなら、この真島、僭越ながらお相手いたしましょう。ただし、私からは一切手出しはいたしません。何しろ、お客様は神様ですから。まだそんなこと抜かすか。なめおって。さあ、ショータイムや。
Absolute cinema. And then so then you get into a scuffle with him. But you are not allowed to actually fight him. Here we get to a little bit more tutorializing, even though you've like definitely done all of this by now, seeing as he's the second part of the story. But it's very cool to see the heat actions get reflavored as like non-violent. Very cool. So Majima has the way cooler story because, oh my god, it's absolute fucking cinema. So he, some minor spoilers just to tell you the setup, but it will spoil like the first little part of his story. It's that he is outcast from his Yakuza family and because of something that happened, which I won't tell you. And he wants back in, so he has to run this cabaret club in the meantime in Sotenbori. And his big chance to get back into the family is that he's hired to do a hit on somebody, which he goes along with, but then it turns out the target isn't quite who he had expected it to be. And he ends up liking them a whole lot. So then his story ends up being mostly about trying to protect that person. And then this story eventually loops back into Kiryu's as well. Like their stories converge at one point. And it's very good. Majima's story is absolute fucking cinema. Kiryu's is also fine, but like Majima's got like the really good half of the story. And the Yakuza games, you know, the story's great, very melodramatic and everything, but a big part of the Yakuza games, which I can't really show you from this, is like the side stuff. There's light RPG elements, but the side stories are all very silly, very whimsical, and just a general good time. Like, the side stories are the big things. There's a lot of mini games. You get to play some old Sega games in the arcades. This game has like 2 big mini games where Kiryu does he becomes a landlord, which is very cringe. His is mostly about buying property and then upgrading it to invest, which is not as interesting. But Majima's is like running the cabaret clubs around Sotenbori, and that's much more involved. There's like min-maxing the stats on girls. There's a whole like little side story thing going on. There's a little gameplay thing where you have to match up girls with certain affinities. Here we go. You have to match girls with certain affinities with certain types of guests, and then you have to Sometimes they'll like have a little interrupt thing where you need to choose the correct action as well. This is much more involved, and I fucking loved this mini game, dude. I had a great time with it. And both their gameplay, like their combat's pretty much the same. Their styles are different, but you've got basically the same thing where you've got a fast one, a heavy one, and then an in-between one. But the gameplay is like, you know, it's a brawler. It's generally satisfying. It's like a good time. But the story's like the big thing, and you meet some very interesting characters like Nishitani. And if you know anything about Yakuza, Majima is very different to how he shows up in the rest of the series, which is that he's a weird little freak in all of the other games, and then he's so normal here, and you get to see how he turned into that weird little freak, which is great. But man, the story's so good. I'm not too ashamed to admit that I cried, okay, at the end. Oh, it's heartbreaking. It's so fucking good. Oh, I can't recommend Yakuza 0 enough. It's absolute peak. I genuinely have like nothing I would complain about with this game. I think it's as close to perfect as it fucking gets. I love it. And the rest of the series is also good. I haven't played through the whole series yet, but they're all broadly the same. You know, they change into a JRPG after a point, but, like, they're all broadly the same. They're all great. They all have, like, the same thing going on, where the main story's melodramatic, and then all the side stuff is great. Like, fun, whimsical stuff. Oh, love them. Love them so much. Highly, highly recommend Yakuza 0. Great starting point for the series as well. You know, you just start at 0 and then go in order, if you've never played. And you've always been like, there's like a billion games. Where do I start? Just start at 0 and then go in order after that. Yes, love them. Good games. Good games. Highly, highly recommend. And that's it. That's all the games. That's the top 10 games I've got for you there. A lot of ones from my childhood, and then Yakuza and 13 Sentinels are the recent additions that I love a lot. So yeah, that's all I've got for you. Please do let me know. Now, please do, if you've watched. Thank you very much for watching, by the way, if you watched this whole thing. Please do all of the engagement things that YouTube likes when people do. And do also let me know what some of your favorite games are. Do you agree with any of mine? Do you have some games of your what are some of your favorite games? Please do tell me. It's always very interesting to see what everybody's, like, favorite games are, because it's varies so much from person to person. It's very cool. So, thank you very much for watching. That's all I've got for you. Okay, bye-bye.